Mr. Torero back with podcast 71 on Endgame, sitting here in Europe after those Canadian shenanigans with my wing and fellow coach Craig Cassidy. And speaking of Mr. Cassidy, we shall kick off the podcast with a bit of sales, with a bit of an upsell. It's for the Outlaw Street Hustle Euro Tour. So this is my last infield coaching of the year. I'm sold out for one-on-one coaching, but these will be one-day standalone infield training sessions teaching you the London day game model all around Europe. And the plan is Craig and I are going to ride motorbikes like Sons of Anarchy or Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, just, iron versions of their horses. We're going to be riding motorbikes through 5 classic European day game destinations, and in each city we'll teach one of these one day 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. infield sessions. So we kick off in Cologne on the 15th of October in Germany, then down to Bavaria, Munich on the 17th of October, across to Austria, Vienna on the 19th of October, Czech Republic, Prague on the 21st of October, finishing in Poland, Krakow on the 23rd of October. Now, I've tried and tested all of those cities. I've day gamed in them myself. I've taught boot camps in them before. There are hot girls. There's good beer, a cheap cost of living, certainly in Krakow and Prague. So come on down. Maybe you don't even live in one of those cities, but you'd like to experience it. It's a one-day session. Like I said, 12 p.m. till 5 p.m., 100% infield. Craig and I teaching, 2-to-1 instructor ratio, wireless microphones, not just the classic street stuff, but we'll be teaching you in parks and coffee shops and stores and malls, wherever we can find hot girls. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, send me an email, tom@tomtorero.com. We've already sold places in all of those cities for this tour, but there are places remaining. So first come, first served. There you go. Enough of the sales speak. Let's dive into today's podcast topic, which is an important one. Eye on the prize. It is Endgame, the final stages of pickup. Now, Endgame, the term, if you're a chess nerd, you'll know that just means the final stage of the game when there are a few pieces remaining. Okay, it usually comes down to the king and the queen. And in game, we're obviously thinking about her in your bedroom or her in isolation where sexy times are about to happen. Because this might sound obvious, this might sound rather retarded, but let me remind you, gentlemen, that the goal of pickup, the goal of PUA, the goal of game, the goal of day game, the goal of night game is sex. And guys go, what? I thought it was fashion and grooming and health and meditation and mindfulness and posture and yeah. Everything, all that stuff is additional. It's a side effect. It's ancillary, you'd say, yeah? But the goal is sex. And I've always said this, not to wrap up, pick up in too much self-development, because guys disappear up their own arse. They use self-development as an avoidance to thinking about endgame, what they're really in it for. Sure, once you start having lots of sex, off cold approaching with beautiful younger girls, your life does transform in many other ways. I'm always saying, game is the Trojan horse into yourself. You're really seducing yourself. Okay, that all sounds woolly and great. It's true. But the reason I got into game, the reason I still game, and I suspect the reason you Googled pick up in the beginning, or maybe read The Game, or you took some training, or you go out there onto the streets, is to have sex with younger, hotter girls. That's our biology. That's the biological meaning of life. It's a massive motivation and an inspiration for me. And we shouldn't hide it. I say don't hide your dick. And don't hide why you're doing pickup, right? You can drift into what's called becoming purple pill, which is not the kind of beta blue pill stuff, but the purple pill is trying to water down, like I've said many times before, what pickup really is, which is sticking your P into her V, as the old saying goes. So you might know that I'm not really a fan of this outcome independence. Many coaches, pickup coaches, day game coaches, night game coaches say, just be independent, man. Let your ego go. Just be in the moment, feel it and breathe. Align your chakras and all will be well. Yep, I understand why they teach that stuff. Once again, it's used by many as an avoidance to going out there and taking action and cold approaching. I understand that, sure, it's good to be in the moment. Sure, it's good to have that light, playful vibe. The Buddha, I say, as opposed to the badass, yep. But if you're a beginner, even an intermediate, you don't want to be focusing on meditation and the power of now and being in the moment. You want to focus on what you're in this for. And like I said, the goal of pickup is sex. So eye on the prize. Your goal is sex. And then from that, backwards engineer how to get there. So already, if you follow my structure, if you know the London Daygame model, if you've read Street Hustle, if you know my dating model or my text model, or what I do on the street or an instant date, you know my steps, you know the processes. But all of those steps, processes, the Torero toolkit, that is to get you to sex, okay? And here's where a night gamer, you could say, has an advantage over a day gamer, because a night gamer, if you're going out and just looking for same night lays, that's going to encourage you to be like a tiger. That's going to encourage you to be sexual. That's going to encourage you to escalate and be physical and take risks and go for it and burn your boats, as I say. That's going to encourage you to not take phone numbers or focus on long, lengthy conversations where you're getting to know each other or building deep rapport. Okay, a night gamer is very much smash and grab. A good night gamer who does a lot of SDLs, they're in the club, they're very physical, they're bouncing around the club, but they're thinking all the time about, okay, when the club is winding down, where am I gonna take her afterwards? You know, is it pizza or is it an after party? And where am I gonna bang her? Is it on the beach? Is it in an alley behind the club? Is it in a car? Is it back at my place? Is it back at her place? And a night gamer is very driven. Yeah, I like it. I like their energy. I like that oozing of testosterone. It's very evident. Whereas a day gamer often thinks, well, I'm in today game because I'm not one of those guys, so therefore I'm going to take it really easy, I'm going to make it really conversational, I'm going to keep it really low key, I'm going to focus on phone numbers, I'm going to focus on coffee dates, I'm going to focus on conversation, because I'm going for the sweet girls, I'm going for the good girls, I'm going for the girl next door, I'm going for girls with character. That's what many day gamers say. When really they're forgetting, as I say, that day game is dirty. Day game is often dirtier than night game. It certainly can be if you're doing very fast, middle of the day, same day lays. You're misunderstanding the true nature of women, and that good girls are just bad girls who haven't been caught. And that in every good girl, there's that potential. There's that animal instinct inside her that you can bring out. Even the super good girls, even the religious girls, I would argue that by being repressed, by pushing it down, they're actually thinking about sex a lot more than the girl who goes to the club every Thursday, Friday, Saturday and has sex every Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, it's often the very, very, very religious girls that I've slept with, or the virgin girls, or the high IQ girls, or the introverted girls. They are gagging for it. So in day game, we need to remember this. We need to remember why we are doing it. That's why I said in the last podcast, if you're getting a bit static or a bit bored of day game, do some gutter game. Do a burn your boats mission, where you leave your phone at home and you think, okay, I'm going to go out there today and I'm going to see how far I can take it. Step 1 is approaching the girl. Step 2 is bouncing her on an eye date. And step 3 is maybe a bar or straight back to my or her apartment. Yep. The focus of this podcast is the phrase, begin with the end in mind. A famous self-help saying, which we're going to put into action. You might have heard it from that book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People by Stephen Covey. I love that sentence. Begin with the end in mind. Of course, it applies to a business plan, or it applies to anything you're setting out to do, losing weight, giving up smoking, making loads of money, traveling around the world. But definitely have that tattooed onto your arm when it comes to day game. Begin with the end in mind. What is the end goal? We've already said it's sex. In that book, he says something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing it here, but he says, all things are created twice. So once in your mind, and then we're working out how to bring that into a physical existence. Yeah. So in your mind, before you go out for your day game session, or before you go on that date, you should be visualizing sex with a hot girl, or with that specific girl you're going on a date with. Now, it sounds stupid. Again, it sounds obvious, but many guys don't do this. They go out day gaming visualizing numbers, or even worse, they go out, or before they go out, they visualize having nice chats, or having a fun time with the wing, or taking some exercise, or stretching their legs. They are not in animal mode. They are not in beast mode. They are not in predatory mode. They are not thinking about what they're doing this for. So I want you, not as a wishy-washy life coach visualization technique, but as a real thought process. Before you go out of your door to do day game, or you go on that date, stop and just say to yourself, okay, I'm going out today to get laid. End goal is to get laid. So everything else that you're doing, remember, you're backwards engineering just to get to that point. Yep. You can visualize taking a girl on an instant date. You can visualize some of my techniques like tiger eyes, Maradona move, Torero toe. You can visualize yourself making a verbal spike. You can visualize taking that girl from the eye date to a bar. You can visualize walking her back to your apartment. You can visualize her coming in your apartment. You can visualize her on your sofa. You can visualize making out with her, then taking her to the bedroom. You can see this in your mind's eye, which therefore means you're ready, you're prepared, you're motivated, you know what you're doing this for. Same with going on a date. You're visualizing, okay, where you're going to be sitting, how you're going to be behaving. You're going to visualize the verbal escalation, the physical escalation, the kiss. You're going to visualize moving from venue 1 to venue 2. You can imagine taking her from venue 2 to the front door of your place, her coming up the stairs or the lift, wherever, coming in, once again, sofa, bedroom. So that's not wishy-washy. That is a kick up the arse to say, wakey, wakey, no outcome independence, outcome dependence, goal. Have a fucking goal. Otherwise, as the cheesy saying goes, you can't score a goal. So visualize, I like to say to students, compliance. So the easiest thing, if life was so simple and beautiful, would be to just walk up to the girl in the street, or she's sitting in a coffee shop, walk up to her, tell her she looks nice, have a bit of a flirtatious banter, and then take her and go and have sex. That's massive compliance if a girl just comes straight back to your house. It can happen, it does happen, but it's rare, obviously. So what's a step back from that biggest compliance? It's taking her to an eye date and then back to your house. Less compliance than that would be eye date, one venue, another venue, then back to your house. Less compliance would be just the eye date. Less compliance would be phone number, date, and then late, etc., etc., etc. You're winding it back. But as they say in sales, go for the big compliance first, and then you can always ask, you can wind it back for smaller compliance second if she says no to the big compliance. Much better than just shooting yourself in the foot by going for small compliance, and surprise, surprise, that's what you get. So day gamers are massively guilty of this. Their focus is phone numbers. And there's guys in London and New York who are obsessed about collecting phone numbers. They get a high off phone numbers. It's an addiction. They feel like the week has been a massive success if they've got a load of phone numbers. They're forcing phone numbers. They know that game's not solid on the street, but they're collecting flaky phone numbers. And sure, I'm not having a go at these guys. It's part of the process, and it's good that they're going out and phone numbers are okay. It's the first step on the road, but we can't see that as the end game. So don't go out there visualizing phone numbers. Same with eye dates. I had a good Skype coaching session the other day with a student who was obsessed about eye dates, and he was asking me questions about technicalities of getting her on the eye date, what to do on the eye date, what to say, how to structure it. And I stopped him halfway through his questioning about eye dates, and I said, look, what is the eye date for? And he couldn't say. He hadn't really thought about it. He visualized the eye date as a real date. And that was his only goal, really, for the month, for the year, to get loads and loads of eye dates. And I explained what the purpose of an eye date was for, which is, I've said on eye date videos on my YouTube channel, I don't do many eye dates anymore because I don't see the difference between just taking a solid number and going on an eye date with it. My flake rate seems to be the same. I'll only do an eye date if I'm going for the same day lay. So it's like it's a bridge, it's a bounce. Or I can see she's really nervous, she doesn't trust me, she needs a bit more grounding. And yeah, I could stand on the street and do a bit more grounding and a bit more comfort, getting her to invest, blah, 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 blah. But going and sitting on a wall or sitting on a bench or taking her for a 10-minute coffee, if she's shy, if she's Asian, maybe if in Japan I was doing this a lot, just taking her for a mini eye date, solidifying the number. Okay, so I know I stand a better chance of her texting me back, us going on a date, and therefore me sleeping with her. Sex is the goal. So we're doing an eye date when it improves our chances of getting laid. We're doing any technique in my toolkit in Street Hustle when it improves the chances of us getting laid. I'll say that again and again and again. All right, the purpose of the stages of the universal blueprint, i.e. attraction, number 1, comfort, number 2, seduction, number 3. That's in every model, whether you do night game or Tinder or online or whatever. You're starting with attraction, then you're doing comfort, then you're seducing. The purpose of those 3 stages is to get to the sex, which is the peak of seduction. That's why it's 3D. I say it's fluid, it's polyphonic. You can weave in attraction and comfort and seduction together. When you're good, you'll understand that you need to pick up on the signals, and you're adapting it to maximize your chances of sex. So no, I don't follow a model in a rigid fashion. It's good for beginners to have a bit of structure, but when you get good, you are adapting to the type of girl, to the situation, to the vibe of it. It's hard to describe, but you can feel where the girl's at. Does she need more attraction? Do you need to bed it down with comfort? Are you good to go? Is she ready to be seduced? It's like clutch control, I've always said, on a pedal. You kind of know where you are and you know what the car needs. Anyway, let's get a bit more specific, because that was me ranting on and reminding you about trying to get laid, not just trying to align your chakras. But let's start at the end, which is her in your bedroom, or your P next to her V, and then we'll backwards engineer it all the way to you approaching her during the day, okay? And we'll think about practical things that you can focus on. So let's imagine her right next to you. Maybe you're getting it on, you're naked, your P is almost in the V. Let's think about what you need. Probably she's back at your place or you're in her place. It's isolation. Yeah, it could be a car. Yeah, it could be a park. But 9 times out of 10, she's back at your place. You've got your logistics sorted, or you're back at her place. Much better if she comes back to your place, obviously, because logistics are in your control. I've said that a million times. So in my room, before I go out on a date, or even when I'm day gaming for an SDL, the mood light is on next to my bed. The curtains are closed. The bed is made. There are condoms accessible very near the bed. Yep. I've got a playlist downloaded onto an iPod, an iPhone, or my laptop. And the keyword there is downloaded, because don't rely on the internet. It can really fuck you up if suddenly the internet cuts out and the mood is killed. Yeah. So for guys just new to my channel or new to the podcast, they say, what playlist should I have? Should it be Barry White? No. Should it be Sade? No. I always use just Google Sheepy Mix, or Mr. Suicide Sheep. It's a YouTube channel with these hour and a half, 2 hour long dubstep, chill, liquid drum and bass, trap, very kind of dreamy, seductive, sexy music. And you don't need to change the track. Myself and fellow day gamers and seducers have used usually the same track many, 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 many times, and it works. So just get that ready, okay? And in the bedroom, when she's in the bedroom or she's on the sofa, be thinking, okay, yeah, I'm going to push through token LMR using all the techniques in Street Hustle, but I'm not going to go past the point of no return if I feel it's better gameplay that I could run another date. Maybe this girl really does need a bit more comfort, a bit more time. We're going to do the 2-date model, maybe even the 3-date model, although we should be, plan A, like I always say, is sex on the first date, plan B, second date, plan C on the 3rd date. But you're aware of that in the bedroom. Remember, you're thinking of maximizing your chances of having sex, not just getting like a crappy hand job, freaking her out by over-escalating and then never seeing her again. Yep, you might write on a field report, oh, that was a victory, man, that was so fucking cool, she came back and I got a hand job, oh, it was crazy. Yeah, but is that calibrated? Is that intelligent? Did you have the end goal in mind of seeing her next time perhaps and not escalating so much? Remember clutch control, and having sex with her next time. So consider that. Okay, think about the living room. Have you tidied up, basically? Yep. You don't need to be anally tidy to get anal, but you do have to clear away the pizza boxes and make it look vaguely okay. So is there alcohol in the fridge? Is the table lamp on? Kill the main light. That's not sexy, yeah? Is your guitar ready? Is your shisha pipe ready? Is your laptop ready? Have you hidden all your porn and pickup windows and things on your desktop? That's fucked me up sometimes before. Here's a good one. Is the light on in your hall? So as soon as you open the front door, does it look not scary? If you're going for same day lay or gutter game, or you're just about to go out on a date, that's what I do. So I've got mood lamp in the bedroom, side lamp, table lamp on in the living room, and big light on in the hall. So you've kind of got that gradient, as I've said before, of strong light when she walks in and she feels okay, down to sexy lights in the bedroom. Again, all in your control. Think about that, backwards engineer it. The venues. I've nagged you so many times about this. Have you got venue 1 and venue 2 sorted? Guys will say, oh, what's the best bar in this city for a date? What's the sexiest bar? I say it doesn't really matter. What matters is the proximity of those bars to your front door, okay? Even if you've got a crappy bar, I've done it in Starbucks, that really doesn't matter. That's much better if that place is close to yours than a really cool bar that's very far away. So think about venue 2. Is it no more than 10 minutes from your front door? Do you know the closing times? Do you know how busy it is? Do you know if the sofas are available? Do you know if the music's too loud? Venue 1. Do you know if it's near a meeting place that she can find? Do you know about the seating for venue 1? Do you know about the drinks in venue 1? Do you know the distance from venue 1 to venue 2? All these things are in your control, which are maximizing your chance of having sex. Do you know some plush disabled toilets? Starbucks often have really big disabled toilets. Do you know toilets where you could take a girl in an emergency? Do you know parks where you could take a girl in an emergency? Do you have a closing location? Do you have a car somewhere? Do you have a dirty RV like we had in Canada? This is about getting laid. So we're not really focusing on, does this bar have the best cocktails, or is this bar got 5-star reviews? No, we're thinking, where can I fuck her? Where can I fuck her? Where are we in isolation? Because remember, you're verbally escalating, you're physically escalating, but as I say, the one that guys forget is isolation. A shy girl will only do things in isolation. She doesn't want to look like a slut. Asian girls will only do things in isolation. Okay, it's only crazy Welsh girls or American girls that will suck you off in McDonald's, let's say. Anyway, wind it back even more. So let's say we've done the bedroom bit, we've thought about the living room bit, we've thought about the dating bit. I should say also about dating structures and my dating model and all my gambits and my toolkit and my routines and my ladders. Guys get so carried away with learning that stuff that they forget it's for getting laid. A good example is the kiss. Guys will go on and on and on about, did I kiss her? I didn't kiss her. How do I kiss her? When should I kiss her? I say, often it's better not to kiss her until she's back in your apartment. because you don't burst the bubble, and it maximizes the chance of getting laid. So you're not focusing on the kiss, you're focusing on getting laid. Does the kiss help you get laid? Use those techniques to get laid. Don't just use them in random isolation and over egg the pudding, as they say. Yeah. Think about, is that calibrated? Is that the right time to use it? Now, of course, easier said than done. It does come with experience. But in the venue, like I say to all my students, take a break, go into the bathroom, look at yourself in the mirror, splash some cold water on your face if you've had one too many beers, and think, endgame. Having sex with this girl. Where am I in the model? How am I going to get her into isolation to have sex with her? Yeah, sounds stupid, but guys will sit in a venue for hours talking about their PhD and their hobbies and going into deep rapport about her religion or backpacking. They forget why they stopped her on the street, which was that they wanted to sleep with her. Okay, so once again, by not hiding your dick, both to her and yourself, it makes this whole thing easier. Think about the eye date. Why are you doing the eye date? I've already mentioned that, yeah? Either you're grounding the interaction or you're going for the same day late. Think about taking the number. Let's wind it back even more. Why are you taking her phone number? Have you checked that she's not a same day late girl? Is the eye date possible? Is the number always the best thing? Now, guys will always say, of course the number's the best thing. Well, maybe your Instagram's the best thing if she doesn't quite trust you, yeah? Or you want to DHV a little bit and you're going to do Instagram Messenger. Facebook, I don't really use Facebook anymore, but for some people, for some girls, Facebook is an option. In Japan we were using, I think it's called Line, which is good. In Russia I was using Contact, which is like their Facebook. But anyway, why are you going for the number? Are you going for the number too soon? Have you checked, like I said, that you can't just take her on a date there and then and take her home? Because guys are so obsessed with number closing that they haven't even thought about the possibility that this girl's on. Okay, if you don't know the same day late characteristics, it's in my first book, Daygame. I think it's in my second book, Torero Travels, and it's definitely in Street Hustle. And let's wind it back right to the beginning. You've stopped her. Why have you stopped her? Are you stopping girls in nice guy mode? Are you stopping girls because you like chatting? Are you stopping girls with the vibe of, I want to be your friend? Or, I hope, because you listen to these podcasts and watch my videos, are you stopping girls with intent? The subtext is, I find you attractive. I want to put my D in your V. She should know that, I say to students, within 10 seconds. A good day gamer will have conveyed that within 1 second, as soon as he's jumped in front of her, sometimes even before, off an IOI, or just as he's wheeling in, flirtatious eyes, cheeky smile, she thinks, he wants to fuck me. He's a sexual threat. Okay, there's intent. Now, no, you don't walk up to the girl and kamikaze it. This is where guys get the wrong idea with being direct. They go up to the girl and say, hey, you're hot, I want to fuck you. You know, the apocalypse opener. No, that's not smooth and socially intelligent. Girls like it under the radar, secret society. So you do it with your eyes. You do it with that sexy silence. You do it with your handhold. You do it with a Torero toe. Of course, like I say, 3 statements of intent in the interaction. So I think you look nice at the beginning. You have a sexy accent in the middle. And I find you attractive. I'd like to take you for some wine at the end before the number close. But she should be in no doubt why you're stopping her. So we're coming to the end of the podcast. That was a lot of content. I've been rambling on. I thought it would go quicker than that, but there we go. Like I said, sounds so obvious, doesn't it? The purpose of pickup is to have sex, but I bet you're sitting there thinking, fuck yeah, does she know what I want? Am I thinking of the end goal? Am I beginning with the end in mind? Until next time, ta-da.